Spain.
All right, the Senate is not going to vote on the FinReg bill until after the July 4th recess. We're joined this morning by Democratic Senator Ted Kaufman of Delaware, who joins us from the Hill, talk about some vote counting. But first, Senator, maybe some response to what the Fed chairman said. His take seemed to be, if the people demand it, that's fine, but it's going to come with some costs.
Oh, absolutely. Look, as you know, my main concern in this whole thing is the credibility of our markets. I think that one of the things that made it much great, two things, are democracy in our markets. So the credibility of our markets is absolutely essential. Right now, the credibility of our markets is not that great. So we've got to come up with a solution in order to deal with the credibility of our markets. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that we just went through a period where, and Chairman Greenspan admits it, where we were just depending totally on the private sector. We didn't believe in regulators. We didn't think we should have any cops on the beat. My argument all along has been, you know, you can't carry on a football game without the referees. I mean, they do stop the game and they blow their whistles, but somebody's got to make sure that they aren't killing each other at the bottom of the pile. So I think that's the main thing we got to get done here.
Are there elements of it that even you think are unseemly, unnecessary, heavy-handed, but you're willing to put up with because you want, say, the core of it, but whether it's capital requirements or what have you?
Well, no, I frankly, in some of these things, I think we should do a few things that aren't in there. Clearly, the chairman's absolutely right, and this is like the first rule. I teach a course in the Congress at the Duke Law School. First rule is we're going to change this next year. We're going to change it the year after that. We've never passed a piece of legislation going back in history that we hadn't had technical corrections. So there's going to be technical corrections. But I just think that the Glass-Steagall Act was a good act. Passed in 1933. I think it worked well. I think we should have gone back to that. So my main concern with this thing is, you know, we should have commercial banks and a commercial banking business guaranteed by the FDIC, guaranteed by the taxpayers. And then if people want to engage in the more risky, you know, investment banking thing, which I'm totally for and I totally support, they should be doing that separately. So that's my main concern with the bill.
All right. With that in mind, what do you think the votes look like in the Senate, and where can Democrats go to get those Republicans you need?
Well, you know, this is one of those things where you know, I often say I don't like to talk about something I don't know something about, and I always have trouble kind of figuring out where the Republicans are going and what they're doing. There is a big difference between Democrats and Republicans, so I don't know what they're going to do, and I think that's really the key. They've got, you know, there are 41 votes. We cannot move to this bill without getting some Republicans. And the Republicans, especially in the recent months, have been very disciplined in terms of following the leader, Mitch McConnell, and not doing anything they want. I find it incredible that we don't have 20 or 30 Republican votes, because most of the people, most of the states, when you look at the states historically that have been concerned about regulating Wall Street, they're mostly the red states and the Republican states. The Republicans have been very disciplined about not by following the lead of leader Mitch McConnell. So the real question is what they decide to do as a group.
Yeah, that's called party unity, and the Democrats need to learn how to do some of that.
Oh no, we have party unity. The only thing is we have to get 60 people for every vote. The Democrats are all voting together on this. What we have to do is, we're voting 57 out of 60. The question is, why are the Republicans? Party discipline's great. I'm for party discipline. But here's a piece of legislation that's really important to bring back the credibility of our markets. And I've always thought the Republicans as being the party that's concerned about the credibility of our markets. And we shouldn't have to be in a position where, you know, at this point, we got all 41 Republicans voting the same way.
How nervous are you about the fact that this is not done and sealed and won't be for the next couple of weeks? Do you think that provides a window for those who are still committed to kill it?
Well, I don't. I'm just concerned that we get something done to return to the credibility of our markets, so that people around the world. I mean, that we aren't. There's nothing in the worldwide constitution that says people have to trade in the United States. And many times I hear from everybody, and it's justifiable. Look, if we don't provide the goods, they're going to move overseas. Well, let me tell you, if we don't provide the credibility of our markets, they're going to move overseas. And as you know, I'm also concerned about some of the things that are going on now with the high-frequency trading and the flash crash, and we had another minor flash crash. So our credibility of our markets is absolutely essential. We cannot afford another meltdown in the near future if we're going to maintain our markets, which is one of the, as I've always said, one of the key things we should be passing on to our grandchildren.
Hey, Senator, real quickly, I think
Sure.
With this bill, you got the populist argument on your side, and I'm just wondering what kind of phone calls you'd be getting for the next couple weeks. I mean, with health care,
Right.
Obviously that was unpopular, and you guys fended off a lot of the town hall meetings and didn't even schedule a lot of them. So you probably got the public on your side. But then again, not all the Republicans are just sort of on the fence. We had Scott Garrett on earlier. He called this, I mean, he renamed it with the most scathing title about just, you know, increasing bureaucracy and killing jobs, etc. I mean, it is possible. Is it possible that that gains some traction, that whole argument with the public over the next couple of weeks?
No, I don't think so. I think the one, I've never been involved with an issue. You know, I've just been a senator for 2 years, but I worked for Senator Biden for 22 years, so I'm pretty familiar with it. I've never had a reaction as broad support for what we're doing than this. And it isn't just populism. I'm not about populism. The number of people who come up to me who are involved on Wall Street who say, you guys have to do something about this. I mean, look what happened with Washington Mutual and the Office of Thrift Supervision. They didn't oversee it at all. And we had 90% of the equity loans were liar loans. People are seeing that. They're saying, look, you can't have this. You've got to have the top of the beat.
It does increase the role of government immensely in the financial sector, though, Senator. And you have to admit,
it takes it back. It does not take it back to even what it was just 15 years ago. I mean,
but there are some winds blowing that you'll see in November about the increase in the government's involvement.
I don't think you're going to see. By the way, with all due
sector.
Respect, I don't think you're going to see that in terms of this bill. I
Maybe
think most
not with
Americans,
this bill.
And do not make the mistake of dismissing this as some kind of bib overall populism. I hear this from people all over the markets who want to get us back to have credible markets and want us to have control. This is not a massive bureaucracy. This is just putting into place the regulators we need to make sure that we have fair and credible markets.
Well, a lot of people just think they were already.
Even Chairman Greenspan said, look, we cannot just leave this up to the private sector to do. We have to have regulators. The regulators were not on the beat, and I can go through example. We just had regulators that didn't believe in regulation. So this is not some radical new thing. It's really, I am very conservative. I want to go back to the way things were just 15 years ago.
I guess we'll hear that nuclear bomb for an ant quite a bit from the Democrats.
Yeah, but it's not going to sell. I tell you, it is not going to sell.
All right.
Senator, appreciate your time. Thank you very much, Senator.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Good to see you guys.
You too.
He's nearby, I think. Although we're in the burbs here, aren't we?
We're north of the
American University or something? All right, let's get the perspective from the other side of the aisle.